What's up, guys? Welcome to Gwhisky. My name is Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. That sounds interesting? Hit subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today, we're looking at the Glengoyne Cask Strength Batch 8. Stick around. Alright, so we're looking at a Glengoyne today. This is a brand that I haven't touched on too much on this channel. I did do a review of the 12-year-old a while back, and it was okay. I liked it, but I didn't love it. So I am hoping that we'll have a little bit more luck with our Batch 8 of the Cask Strength today. Actually, speaking honestly, Glengoyne is not a brand that I've really connected with. It's never been a favorite over the years. I've come back to them a lot, and they've never really blown me away. My reaction is usually pretty neutral, and that's always confused me a little bit because Glengoyne is one of those brands that is pretty well respected within the whiskey community. It does really well with like bloggers, vloggers, reviewers, whatnot, and I've just never really connected with them. I always felt like I'm missing something there. And I couldn't really tell you why. It's a hard thing to sort of like nail down, put my finger on. But I will say this, I've never had a bad Glengoyne, but I've never had a really good Glengoyne either. I'm sure they exist. I hear the 25 is amazing. I can't afford it. But it's one of those brands that always hits in a kind of middle of the road kind of way for me. Anyway, I'm not giving up on them. Everyone loves them. It must be me. I must be missing something. And you never know, maybe this Cask Strength Batch 8 will be the one that wins me over. You guys know the old adage, the fastest way to a whiskey lover's heart is through cask strength. Anyway, we have an interesting cask breakdown here. We have 50% refill casks. We have 30% first fill sherry. Now, within that 30% of first fill sherry, 40% of our casks are going to be American oak, 60% are going to be European oak. We also have 10% first fill bourbon, and 10% Rioja wine casks. So definitely a lot of stuff in this. Now I have had several versions of the Cask Strength expression before. I've had batch 1, batch 2, and I think I had batch 3, but we're now on batch 8, so it's been a minute. So let's jump into our review, see what this one's all about, and in the meantime, if you could kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. Luckily for us, this one's naturally presented. We have an ABV of 59.2%. It's going to be non-chill filtered and it's going to be naturally colored, so all good. All right, so we have a nice natural color here, and I have to say I like the modern updated look to the Glengoyne bottles. The older ones looked like this. Obviously the newer ones look like this. It's a little bit more modern, but we still have a bit of a nod to tradition. I like our goose, duck, bird. I like that design. I'm sure there's some markety story out there about a duck and its relationship to the distillery. I don't know what it is, but I do like the look of it. Bottle gets a 3 out of 5 for presentation. We've got natural color, we've got non-chill filtered, cask strength, we've got some tasting notes down here, and honestly not too much noise beyond that. So it's got all the basics, everything we need to know, nothing too markety or annoying here. Decent look to the bottle, all good. So I did not add water to this. Let's try the nose. Very big, very intense. It's very nutty. I'm getting like almonds, pecans in here. Definitely some sherry. Biscuits. Apple pie, like cinnamon and brown sugar. We also have wet oak, black tea, some salt, and some dark caramel. Decent complexity here. And now the palate. Again, very big, big alcohol. Rum-soaked raisins. We have definitely lots of barley in here. We have those chocolate bars with little bits of like fruit and nuts in them. We have pecan pie, we have marmalade, we have orange oil, and some wet wood. Let's try our finish. Okay. We'll start off with some spices. Definitely lots of spices in here. I'm getting black peppercorn, definitely some cinnamon, We have vanilla frosting, vanilla fudge, like tablet, bit of like burnt toast, maybe not burnt toast, but like brown toast, apple pie, crispy apple turnover, that kind of thing. We have pecan pie again. We have that fruit and nut chocolate bar again. Our finish is medium in length. All right, so this one's kind of an interesting one. It's a very big whiskey. It's one of those ones where you can tell that it's a cask strength offering. You know, sometimes you get a cask strength whiskey and it feels like so light and smooth and mellow and you can't believe the high ABV. This one, you can believe it. And that's not to say it's like harsh or rugged or rough. It isn't, but it's big. In terms of flavors, I get a lot of like nuttiness from this. I get definitely a lot of like pecans, pecan pie, maybe some almonds in there. I also get apple pie or apple strudels, apple turnover, that kind of thing. So lots of like fruitiness and cinnamon and brown sugar. So yeah, we do have some really nice notes in here. Now I'm going off of memory here, so definitely take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, but I do remember the earlier batches being pretty different from this stuff. In my mind, this one is more, maybe not sherried specifically, but more cask forward. I'm getting more nuttiness and breadiness from this one, and I think this is one that's definitely going to make a lot of Glengoyne fans quite happy. It's very much a Glengoyne product. It's got that house style, it's got that distinctive character. So if you're a fan of Glengoyne, if you like what they produce, you are going to enjoy the flavors in here. Of course, our flavors are amplified by the fact that this is cask strength, which I'm sure will not disappoint. But how about people like me who aren't traditionally the biggest fans of Glengoynes? Where are we going to land on this one? And for me personally, at least, I kind of feel the same way about this one as I do a lot of other Glengoyne offerings, which is to say, I do like it, I don't love it. I think it's drinkable, I think it's enjoyable, and I do think it's interesting. But it's not enough to completely sell me on the brand or the flavors or the profile. I see this as an above average, well-made, very solid whiskey, but it doesn't give me that fire, it doesn't give me that excitement. I have no real special feelings towards this. Again, if you're into Glengoyne, things will be a little bit different for you, but for me, this one is a solid 84. We have some really nice and really distinctive flavors in here. It is a little bit big for me at times, but that's a small gripe. Overall, it is really well-made stuff. It might not excite, but it does entertain. I definitely do like this one a little bit more than the 12 that I reviewed a while back. Again, we have cask strength, so our flavor is a little bit more interesting, a little bit bigger, more exciting. And again, if you're a Glengoyne fan, check this one out. I doubt you'll be disappointed. If you're not a Glengoyne fan, if you're on the fence about the brand like I am, I would still say it's worth checking out, but then it's more of a question of value. So I think our value here is fine. I don't think it's good and I don't think it's bad. It is an affordable whiskey, but it's not cheap. And in my market, it's more expensive than things like the Aberlour Abana. Now, if it came down to this or the Abana, personally, I would go with the Aberlour. Of course, those are two very different whiskeys. Aberlour Abana is a sherry bomb, and this one is more just of a Glengoyne bomb. It's not too sherried or too bourbon, bit of everything in there. It's more just like the house style that's been amplified. Now, because that's not my preferred style, I don't think I'm going to be buying this bottle again, at least not for a good while. But if Glengoyne is your thing, I would imagine this is worth the price. All right, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron. Otherwise, you can like, comment, and subscribe. That's always appreciated. Now, I do want to hear from you. Have you tried our Glengoyne? Have you tried the Batch 8? What batches did you try and how would they compare? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, in the comments, you can let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.